black churches and African American churches, we think we have to do it by ourselves. We don't like to ask people for help. If you broke your leg, can you set it by yourself? You got to go to the doctor, unless you're special. Unless you're one of those special forces that go into the woods and you do it. But even if you get hurt, you go get some medicine. If you break a leg, you go to the doctor and they said if your pet hurts, you take them to the vet. So we get this thing of having to do ourselves. Where do we get it from? When you need help, you know how to call on God. When you find yourself struggling, you got to have somebody to lean on. Who do you have in your prayer closet or your prayer corner that got your back? You can't do it by yourself. So when you look around, who's in your village? Think about it for a second. And the amazing part, your village probably is not your biological family. Because I've come to learn over the last, 15 years as pastors, that our own biological families will sell us out quicker than a stranger. So who have you put in your village? Because when you put somebody in your village, guess what comes with it? Access. So who has access to your mind, your spirit, and your body? Who have you allowed to be in your area? So you look at the scripture, the altar represents devotion, dependence, and direction. And the rebuilding process starts with the altar. Right here. For this church. But where's your altar at home? Or on your job? When you're by yourself, when you're alone, when you're not here on Sunday and Wednesday, where's your altar? Because when the first thing you look at, it represents devotion. Are you devoted to God? Do you have a relationship with God that when you say devotion, I'm devoted to what having a relationship, I speak his language? Or do you even know God's language? We ask him to fix things. We ask him for help because we're in a season of rebuilding, but do you even know the language that he would respond to? How many people in a relationship? Raise your hand. Do you even know your spouse's love language? What's his? I'm just curious. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Y'all married. Oh, where he gone? Good. Touch. What's Tom's love language? He won't tell you. Oh, you supposed to have figured that out by now. Corey, what's your wife's love language? I'm going to need you to keep looking forward. Keep looking straight, because if you got it wrong, tell them later. Don't tell them now. You right? Okay, cool. But so in order for your relationship to work, you got to know the love language. Right? Because what happens if you give the wrong love language? All heck will break loose. You got me this? I ain't want that. I don't even like when you can't even pick my clothes out. I bought my wife a pair of boots one time. No, they ain't even in the house no more. She threw them boots away like a couple of weeks later. I thought I was doing something. I was at the call center asking for advice. Hey, y'all, Christmas coming up, and what do I buy my wife for Christmas? And somebody gave me a stupid advice, and I took it. Man, I was proud because I wrapped it up. I did a bow, and when you're younger, you go and work for holidays and wrap. So I knew how to wrap. And I was like, man, she gonna open it. I was like, yes. She opened that present and looked at me. I ain't gonna tell you what it was our BC day, so I can't tell you what she said. Where did you get this idea from? Well, I worked at the call center and I work around all these ladies and I wanted to get you something special. And all day I saw they was ordering these and this and that and this. And so I got them because I was like, yeah, boom. Gave it to her. Lord have mercy, biggest mistake I made. But then I noticed something. That was like 14, 15 years ago. But then on the other day, we go out. She got on the boots. But you threw my boots away. But then she told me something. She told me something, and this is what I want you to take away from this. Different seasons have different love language. So when you're dealing with God, He's looking at the season that you're in, and are you speaking the love language of God that He recognizes what season you're in? Some of us are using the love language of when we were a kid. And sometimes your love language have to evolve with God. Because how many of us have the same prayer over our finances that we had 15 years ago or maybe 10 years ago? So it might not be the finances because God has blessed you, okay? But now when you start to look at devotion, what about your peace? See, peace in your 20s is different than your peace in your 50s. See, you can handle some things in your 20s. Your response was different. So when you start to look at this and start to look at those three words as far as the altar might look different now when you're in your 40s and your 50s. Because when I was in my 20s, I ain't going up there. What are people out there hollering and crying for? Why they lay it out on the altar? And I didn't understand it, but now I get it. I understand why when we say devotion, are you devoted to what God has called you to be? Have you developed a relationship? So then you start talking about dependency. How many of you are dependent on what God is providing for you? I am. So when you start talking about the rebuilding of the altar, now you're looking at the dependency because it's a safe place. How many of y'all have a safe place in your home? My wife knows when I'm sitting on the back porch and I'm chilling, we ain't having no conversation. I don't want no heated fellowship, no deep conversation. If you need to talk, call me inside because that's our safe place. And I know when she's out there, come on, don't come with no foolery. And so when you start talking about dependency and rebuilding the altar, because in this season that's what you need, what is at your altar? And then the direction. How many of us need some direction in our life? Come on. That's why it has to change. It has to get better. But in order for us to evolve and to deal with what we're dealing with in life, come on, the altar is the place of spiritual maturity. Because at the altar you release, wanting God to give you some direction. At the altar, it's a safe place because when I'm at the altar, I can reveal my most deepest and darkest secrets and my pain and my hurt within the expectation that God is going to provide whatever I'm supposed to do, even if I like it or I don't like it. But you got to respect what God is doing for you in your life. So when you start to look at this and look at that scripture, growth requires rebuilding the altar, what are you doing to rebuild your altar? So God says, you know what? I need you to understand that when you're at the altar, and I'm loving these three words, the P, the W, and the W, the prayer. Because God's house must be a house of prayer. Then we got the W. Anybody remember what the W is? Worship. Not just singing songs, but surrendering your soul. Because in worship, you're surrendering. How many of y'all, back in the day, they used to have this music, man, that in D.C. What's that music? Go-go music. Come on! See, I knew she knew. How many else do y'all know? Y'all don't know what go-go music is? It's the DMV thing. It's the DMV thing. Baby! When they turn that go-go music on, guess what you do? You lose your mind. You lose your soul. You just get to go and it just takes over. I can't believe y'all know what go-go music is. Lord have mercy. I'm going to let it go. And then the last W is what? The word. It is not the Department of Motor Vehicles. DC Let it go, Carlette. Let it go. Let it go. Miss Juanita just messed me up with that one. That ain't got nothing to do with it. I got to. There's some things you just need to not say nothing. Some thoughts are meant to stay in your head. But then we got the word. Because true growth comes by feeding, not just feelings. Some of us expect God to move on your feelings. That's not how he moves. He feeds you. When you hear a baby cry, what do? You pick them up. It's either the diaper, it's either they're hungry, or they're mad about something. Or just want to be held. That's how God looks at us. He's like, either it's your diaper, you're mad about something because you're in your feelings, or you need to be fed. God is in a season now where he's feeding people, but are you really receiving what God is giving you? Because it's amazing, because when I start to look at, if you ever want to get and deal with the situation, remember this. The presence of God will always be felt greater after the altar. But you have to be at the altar to feel the presence of God. I tell you, 20, every time we get together, the altar is always open. And y'all take it. Y'all grow with it. Because when you start to look at this, it's amazing, because programs can gather people, but only the presence of God can grow people. Don't come because it's a program and you check it off. Come to get the presence. Come to get, God, I want the feeling, but I want the feeling every day. Not just for the 2 hours that we're here, because she was singing the song.
Thank you for being with us today. Elevation Life Center. It's center where faith and family grow together. See you soon. And remember, we're always lifting you higher. Elevation Life Center, where faith you. Elevation Life.